So it seems like with all of this stuff that has been going on with Ironmouse and the whole Rakai and Ray situation, the Stream Awards situation with the burnt peanut, all of that kind of stuff, it seems like the harassment for Ironmouse is getting even worse. And maybe you guys haven't seen some of this due to the fact of a lot of it being based on other platforms, including TikTok, but I kind of wanted to showcase the amount of kind of disgusting behavior that has been going on, especially over on TikTok towards her after this whole situation, right? And this situation has been very controversial. You know, many people have been arguing that, oh, Ironmouse shouldn't feel uncomfortable when talking to people, right? Sure, right, you can argue that, whatever, but I don't think it warrants some of the I guess, reactions that some people have had, including some people trying to dox her. Now, obviously, she has not been doxed because, you know, she doesn't show her face on the internet or anything like that. And also, they are posting like very separate images, which I kind of want to, go through. Obviously, we won't be showing any of the images because they are just innocent people who have nothing to do with this. But it is pretty crazy how wild these communities are getting over her just saying that she felt uncomfortable, right? And again, this was one of the first posts. Obviously, I know that this is essentially designed to be rage bait for a lot of people, right? And obviously it worked, seeing as this got 4.5 million views. But I do think, obviously, it is pretty disingenuous how she essentially kind of, I guess, it portrayed the situation. Obviously, she does this whole caricature of Ironmouse and things, and then obviously then goes on to, be Rakai and Ray interacting with her, and this is what kind of happens.
Was in danger. Hi, Ironmouse. It is so good to see you here. And then I felt so uncomfortable.
So again, first of all, completely misrepresenting how Rakai and Ray were acting in the original clip that happened, saying, and to be fair, it does say 87% accuracy, and hey, maybe that 13% was Rakai and Ray obviously being pretty loud and obnoxious and, going up to her pretty energetically. Obviously here, they seem like distinguished gentlemen who obviously went, hello, good to meet you, how are you doing? I'm being very quiet. He's like, and I felt uncomfortable, but no, obviously that is a complete misrepresentation of what has happened, and also misses out some of the previous information that we know about obviously Ray and Rakai's communities going after Ironmouse back whenever she beat Kaisen at sub record, and the kind of amounts of harassment and attacks that have been going her way. But obviously I didn't really want to go too much into this post because obviously these are designed to anger people, these are designed to obviously go after people, but again, just to kind of show you that people are completely misrepresenting the situation, and talking about misrepresenting the situation or not really doing enough research on a situation with this. Obviously, there's a lot of people on TikTok who like to post about situations like this and everything like that, and talk about it with their audience, which I think is fine. You're totally allowed to talk about it and talk about how stupid something is or how great something is or whatever. But at least do your research whenever doing this, because this is one of the videos that I saw from Jamie Non. I'm pretty sure we covered him before on this channel, but essentially, yeah, he covered the iMail situation, but he gets the first bit of information wrong, literally in the first, 5-10 seconds.
Don't know who Ironmouse is? She is the biggest VTuber in the world, and if you don't know,
he's already got it wrong. It's literally with 5 seconds into this clip, he says, Ironmouse is the biggest VTuber in the world. Okay, let's take a look at stream charts. This was the first week of December. Is Ironmouse on this list? No. So how could she be the biggest VTuber in the world? Well, she's not, right? Again, I think it's crazy. It's not like shade to Ironmouse. Obviously, she does great. She still gets a ton of viewers, but already starting off the bat with the information that she is the biggest VTuber in the world. She's not. She's literally not. You got people like Sakura Miko, Pakora, all these people who are so much higher up. And even if you go to old things as well, popular VTubers, right? By average for Q3. So this is a whole little section of the year, Q3 of the year. She doesn't feature on this list. Obviously, you got Miko, Marine, Subaru, Pakora, Kusaha, Korone, Saba, all of these people who are streaming and are bigger than Ironmouse. Now, obviously, again, Ironmouse is a really big VTuber, and I think obviously if he said she's a big VTuber, sure, then 100% I can see that being the case, because she does do very, very great. But, that first bit of information that he's already gotten wrong by saying she's the biggest VTuber in the world, and then going on to talk about the situation, again, I would just kind of expect a little bit more research from someone who's talking about these situations and trying to, I guess, educate people on what is going on when you can't even get the first 5 seconds of your video right. I think it is pretty insane that, you know, some people cannot do their research with YouTube. And I've got a separate video that will be coming out soon talking about some of the other things that people have been saying about Ironmouse over on streams and clips like that. I've been tweeting about it if you guys follow me over on Twitter. But again, it has been pretty insane. And then also we have this one here, which is probably the most disgusting one. I like this one. I think this guy just doesn't know much, and I think that's fine. You know, he doesn't do much research. I think it's pretty disingenuous to be talking about it if you don't know much about the situation itself. But either way, that's fine. Whatever. TikTok's going to be TikTok. But this one is pretty disgusting. Now, obviously, I'm going to blur exactly what this thing is in the corner of the screen here. But obviously, they play a clip of what she wanted to say. Obviously, kind of, you know, putting her off in like a kind of racist way, saying that she was racist for interacting with Rakai and Ray and saying she felt uncomfortable by the interactions. I think I'd feel pretty uncomfortable if, you know, someone sent their whole community to go after me a couple of months ago, and then they came up to me, well, obviously, you know, on an iPad, sure, whatever, right? But obviously they then interacted with me later on. I would feel pretty uncomfortable, and I'm pretty sure you would feel uncomfortable by that too, if I was to send my entire audience to you and then try to interact with you a couple of months later and say, hey, you know, we love you and stuff. You would probably feel a little bit weirded out by that too, right? I think you would. And obviously that isn't even the worst part of this, because they put this image in the corner here and it says at the top, Ironmouse face reveal. Now, this is just some random woman or girl or whatever. I don't know who this is. And again, this dude has a ton of videos on here because obviously this one did good. It got 19,000 likes, right? And so he decided to upload another one. But for some reason, the images are completely different. The person is completely different. So either you've got it completely wrong with this face reveal that you're trying to claim, or you're just kind of doing it because you know it's going to get views. And I think, you know, we all know why he's doing it. It's getting views. It's getting a lot of people to hate Ironmouse. But I do think it is extremely weird how a lot of people have been doing this, especially over on places like Twitter as well, whenever this first blew up, was people trying to quote-unquote dox her. Like, they will never really actually dox her because, again, I don't think she has anything out there of her face on the internet anyways in the first place. But people trying to or pretending to is extremely weird. They keep trying to go after her face. That was one of the things I saw, which was extremely weird and extremely odd. I don't know why many people just reverted to that. Obviously, they're extremely hateful over everything that's gone on, and that is just not a normal response to something where someone has literally just said they felt uncomfortable with an interaction, right? I think that is the weirder response. Sure, you can like argue whatever you want about the Rakai and Ray situation and how you feel about that, but we can't argue the fact that it's normal to try and, you know, share people's personal information and personal kind of photos and things like that on the internet. You can't argue that. You can't argue and say, oh yeah, that's okay because she said something bad about Rakai and Ray. You can't say that, right? And I think that it's pretty ridiculous that there are so many people posting these things, and not only the fact of like, you know, they are like fake doxing these people, right? They're also like posting some innocent person online and claiming that they're Ironmouse, which I think is pretty ridiculous, right? I don't know who this person is. I don't know if they're popular online, if they're literally just some random person that they found on Twitter or on Pinterest or whatever, right? And again, they just decided to upload it. But imagine the amount of hate and stuff that they've been getting too, that they probably don't even realize that is going on. I think that is also pretty ridiculous as well. The people that are being affected by this were being called Ironmouse when they aren't actually. They're just their own person. And there's been some other ones as well. For example, like someone dressed up as Ironmouse. You've actually got to be retarded to think that, you know, someone dressed up as Ironmouse has to be Ironmouse. There's things that cosplay exist. Like, these people cannot fathom the fact that cosplay exists and that people can be other characters and they can dress up as characters. Like, it's so dumb because, again, I don't know how you correlate that. Like, she's dressed up as Ironmouse, so she must be Ironmouse. Like, what? There's thousands or hundreds, of cosplayers out there who have cosplayed Ironmouse. There's so many, even popular ones like Jessica Negri, people like that who have also kind of done cosplays of Ironmouse. I think that people aren't going to go ahead and call her that. And also there's people as well, I don't know if they were being legit serious, but they were posting the joke photo of Sea-Dog dressed up as Ironmouse in like an Ironmouse wig and saying, this is her, by the way. Like they were like unironically saying that was her. even though it was literally a joke that Sea-Dog had done on his stream or whatever, dressing up as Ironmouse, and they were trying to claim that it was her. Again, I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and obviously proves how much these people know nothing about the community and know nothing about Ironmouse, and they are literally just doing it because she said something bad about her favorite streamer. And I just kind of want to talk about it because there was a lot of these posts over on TikTok, right? There was, tons. Like, these are just two that I've picked out. These are just two that have come up on my page, but I think it is absolutely horrible how many people are trying to expose her face or trying to expose this and expose that. Sure, as I said, you can be, not happy with the situation anyway. I think it's kind of dumb to be not happy about it. Again, it's her own feelings on how she felt uncomfortable. If I told you you're not allowed to feel uncomfortable about a situation, would you take that? Probably not, right? Again, I think that she can think her own thing, but also you can think your own thing, right? I think that's fine. But the moment you start to go on Twitter, on TikTok and stuff and be like, yeah, this is her face, guys, go get her, this is her face, I think it's so weird, and it's so, it's pretty disgusting. It's so, like, I don't understand why people do this. Obviously, I think they just want to hate. I think they just want to, provide as much, I guess, discourse as they can. But yeah, obviously 19,000 likes on this post as well, which I think is absolutely insane too. Again, I don't think doxing or trying to dox people, makes you any better of a person, right? If you think, Ironmouse is such a horrible person for what she said about Rakai and Ray, I don't think doing all of this harassment stuff makes you any better. If anything, I think that makes you even worse, right? I think that honestly makes you seem even more of a, horrible human being than whatever you think that Ironmouse is. But again, I think, these people, they're just completely unhinged. Again, obviously, I feel like, in my opinion of this whole Rakai and Ray thing, I think she's allowed to feel what she's allowed to feel, right? You can't really judge her based on that. Sure, you could say that you wouldn't feel personally uncomfortable by the situation. That's fine, right? But obviously she did, providing all the context as well of her being harassed previously. Again, she's totally allowed to feel like that, and I think a lot of people policing her on that is a little bit weird. And yeah, I mean, I think that obviously all of this harassment that's followed from this clip and from all of this kind of stuff has been pretty ridiculous. But yeah, essentially that is all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSups, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.